If you look, you'll see perseverance everywhere. In the student working two jobs to pay for college, and the soccer player who gets back up after a fall, even in the ant that lifts up objects larger than itself to feed its colony. Perseverance is one of our key values. We celebrate it when we see it, and we admire those who show it, but in some cases, perseverance is not seen as the luxury it is. Imagine that passion, that inner fire within you that pushes you to continue, to grow, to fight. It burns brightly in all of us, feeding our hunger for success. But what if it goes out? The fire that once drove your every move turns to ash, and you become an empty fireplace that longs for the warmth it once held. For a while, I experienced that void, that loss of motivation to live my life to the fullest. My curiosity lay buried beneath the worn-out logs, leaving a cold, emotionless exterior. The layer of dusty film that obscured my perception of the world revealed itself in irritability, exhaustion, and hopelessness. What was the point if I couldn't see the beauty around me anymore? I was lucky. I followed my routine, and my life went on. But I also started down undesirable paths. I drowned my sorrows with alcohol. I lashed out at my friends, and I began to shut myself away, ridden with guilt after every episode. My own thoughts turned against me, convincing me I was a monster, that I didn't deserve happiness, that it would be easier for everyone if I didn't exist. The worst part was that I didn't even have a reason to feel this way. My family loved me, my friends were amazing, and I was at a great school. All else equal, I should have been the happiest I'd ever been. If nothing was wrong with my life, I decided, there must be something wrong with me. These thoughts appeared so gradually that I wasn't able to distinguish between my own opinions and the opinions of my depression. All I knew was that I was slipping further and further beneath the surface. I should have gotten help when I first suspected that something was off, but again, my mind sabotaged me. I thought that some people have it much worse off, so I shouldn't pretend that my problems were nearly as bad as everyone else's. It was insulting to them, I told myself. I'd be taking resources away from other people. I'm not worth it. I didn't do anything about my depression for 5 years. The thing about depression is that, if left unchecked, it just gets worse and worse. I secluded myself, worrying about the effect I would have on the people around me, thinking myself some contagious being that would drag my friends down with me. It was for their own protection that I spent days in my bed, unable to face social interaction. Of course, some people didn't understand. They thought the reason I rejected offers to spend time together was because I didn't like them. Quite the opposite. Hypervigilant, I looked for subtle signs in every interaction that the other person hated me, taking the smallest sign of stress or tiredness from them as an indicator of their fatigue of me. I overreacted accordingly, cutting people out of my life and consequently hating myself even more. It made no sense, but mental health issues never do. Society doesn't see value in this struggle, it sees failure. It sees someone taking on small obstacles and crumbling before them. After my experience with depression, though, I can appreciate the tenacity involved in performing actions otherwise seen as normal or expected. At the time, the effort involved in simple social interactions, in eating a meal, or even getting out of bed, seemed monumental to me. Accomplishing small tasks like taking a shower or texting someone back was noteworthy. It sounds so easy, but when you're bogged down by thoughts so vicious that you can't bring yourself to do more than curl up in a ball, completing any goal is a significant success. Finally, just a year ago, I reached a rare moment of depressed clarity. My depression was so detrimental to my life that I knew I had to get help, a thought that had crossed my mind during every episode. But for once, I was able to pick up the phone. I took the opportunity to do what I was unable to do for years, and for about a fourth of my life. I got help. It took 5 years for me to schedule a free appointment with a school mental health counselor who lived walking distance away from me on campus. Imagine how difficult it must be for people who don't have the time, the money, or the accessibility to do the same thing. I came out of my first session able to appreciate my fight from a new perspective. I realized the incredible perseverance I and so many others demonstrate in their struggles with mental illness. Now, 1 year out, I have a much better grasp on my depression and how I handled it. A disease had been attacking me, doing its best to break me, but I fought back. I continued going to classes. I ate food. I got out of bed. Slowly, the ashes turned to a smolder, which eventually ignited once more. My flame may not be as large now as it once was, but this time I have the resources to fan it, to check on it when I feel it flicker, and to do my best to support other people whose flames have gone out as well. If you or someone you know is going through this, it's okay. Be patient. It's okay to feel like this. It's okay not to be happy all the time. Don't give up. Keep going. Seek help. You're going to get through this. Everyone experiences depression and other mental health issues differently. They struggle differently, they cope differently and at their own pace, and it takes different strategies to overcome each issue, but people overcome. We're resilient, it's in our nature, and whether that be in the form of running that extra mile, getting a high school diploma, or getting out of bed in the morning, we persevere.